Good afternoon. Welcome back to the channel. This video is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research, make your own decisions. All right, guys, very important video. So I'm going to be talking about ICP and Bitcoin and why everything happening with ICP and Bitcoin is important right now. And admittedly, I kind of missed a couple of things here, just big picture with Bitcoin and Bitcoin applications. I was primarily just looking at ICP and Bitcoin for things like CKBTC as a alternative or replacement to Lightning. And I wasn't thinking about all the other potential Bitcoin applications. And it's not that I thought that they weren't going to happen. I was just more focused on ICP and Ethereum because of all the projects that had already launched on Ethereum. Ethereum's already had so many different tokens that have launched on Ethereum, but yet that project uses big tech infrastructure for their front end, for data storage, for things of that nature. And so that was my primary focus when it comes to like ICP Bitcoin, ICP Ethereum. When I was looking at ICP and Bitcoin, it was just primarily for CKBTC, one as a DeFi solution, but then also as a replacement or an alternative to Lightning. So, but I'm going to get into this and explain why what's happening right now is a very big deal. And it is going to take time, but it does look like this is the beginning of the conversation about Bitcoin applications, how Bitcoin applications are designed, how Bitcoin applications can be better designed in the future. And so I'm going to tie it all in this video. Okay. So we talk a lot about Web 2.5 and Web 3 and how this could theoretically come together with ICP. And when we're talking about this, we're primarily just looking at the other layer one blockchains, the other smart contract L1s, Ethereum, Solana, Avalanche, so on and so forth. Token launches on their network. Let's just use Uniswap, easy example here. Uniswap launches their token on Ethereum, however, uses big tech infrastructure for pretty much everything else. Oracles are needed with this type of a design because these layer ones are isolated networks. And so this is generally how that is set up. And this is how that could come together over time with ICP. As the network integration is completed, as there are CK assets for all ERC20s, ICP could replace the big tech component of this. Uniswap could start running their front end through ICP as opposed to through big tech infrastructure. And CK assets could be traded and Ethereum just be used as a DeFi settlement layer. Okay? That makes sense, I think, to most people because we've been over it many, many times. However, when we're having this conversation, we're not really talking about this same concept applying for potential Bitcoin applications. And when I say potential Bitcoin applications, guys, I mean everything. Any type of application that has any type of, ties to Bitcoin in any way, whether it be a wallet, whether it be an ETF, whether it just be like a DeFi platform, whether it be a mining pool, doesn't matter. Anything and everything ever relating to Bitcoin, this exact same concept applies, okay? Because if you just look at how any Bitcoin application would be set up today, they're going to have all the same problems that all of these other hybrid model applications are having. We just saw recently what there was an exploit down in El Salvador with the Chivo wallet, correct? And so I'm just using Strike as an example here, but this gets into a whole nother conversation when you're talking about Lightning, right? And Lightning not being an end-to-end solution itself. So Lightning largely needing these centralized wallets, custodians, in order to scale their platform. In order to scale Lightning to the masses, in my opinion, you're going to need something like Strike, Cash App, and these other centralized custodians / wallets in the infrastructure they provide in order to scale that payment solution. And so we're just talking about more and more and more counterparties in the mix because this platform has to be hosted in some way, right? And it's not hosted on an open public network that has governance that's all on chain, that has governance at the network level and at the application level. So Bitcoin companies couldn't even theoretically have a true decentralized model because of just the way Web 2 is designed. The inherent nature of the hybrid model itself would really prevent the ability for there to even be decentralized Bitcoin companies. All right. Okay. So now that we've got there, again, the problem with this model, centralized custodians, no real ownership, no real DAO capabilities, security issues. So moving on, ICP can play the same role that it plays, or that it will, in my opinion, play with Ethereum-based applications, with Solana-based applications, with AVAX-based applications, right? And because that network level integration is done, right, the foundation is in place, and there is as much interoperability and compatibility between networks as there possibly could be, right? Being able to read the state of a whatever network and write to that chain, that's about as much interoperability as you're going to get. And with everything that they're doing, enabling threshold Schnorr and EDDSA, that's just going to make more and more things possible across so many different networks. But just for Bitcoin specifically, for the sake of this conversation, ICP and Bitcoin alone can create, those two technologies by themselves can create true decentralized Bitcoin applications. It's going to be the only way you can create true decentralized Bitcoin applications. It's not even going to be technically possible with this type of a design, in my opinion. You're always going to have security issues. You're always going to have centralization issues. You're probably going to have scaling issues because of the security issues, right? And there's just no way that you can truly decentralize your application and or your company with that model. And so with ICP and Bitcoin, it's only going to be ICP and Bitcoin. Today, okay, today we're in the earliest stages imaginable of being an end user. So it's like there's going to have to be more time to build out all the other scaling solutions, all the functionality, and the rest of the capabilities here. But this is the best possible option because ICP is an end-to-end full stack solution. And most importantly here is because they have the governance framework in place. This is such a great sell to the Bitcoin community. Because regardless, the Bitcoin community is going to have to, they probably already have accepted, in order to scale Bitcoin, you're going to have some other counterparties, some other third-party technologies to make this happen. And ICP is really the only way you can do that with just one, and one that is an open public network on sovereign hardware that has governance at the network and at the application level. So they can actually have true ownership. And everything is on chain. So benefits over the hybrid model, again, more secure. Everything's going to be end-to-end on chain. You own your own data and you own the application. Think about this: Bitcoin ETFs, Bitcoin DeFi, Bitcoin wallets, Bitcoin trusts, just regular Bitcoin applications. Let's say that you want to make a Bitcoin themed social media application. ICP is going to be your best bet. Bitcoin stable coins. Anything and everything, any type of Bitcoin product can be done better through this design than any other design. It's just a matter of time and letting everything be built out first. But if this can scale, this is the best option in the world right now. Because of all the boxes it checks. It's end-to-end on chain. It's only ICP and Bitcoin. There's a governance system in place at the network and the application level. And it's just ICP and Bitcoin. There's nothing else that can check all these boxes. And on top of that, too, you're tying in so many other networks. You're tying in so many other networks. Because ICP can do these same network level integrations across so many other networks, you're tying in Ethereum and Ethereum assets. If you want to, you'll have the option. If you're a Bitcoin company and you're building a Bitcoin solution, you'll have the option on ICP to tie in all these other assets because ICP can do those network level integrations with all those other networks, not just Bitcoin. So you just have ICP and Bitcoin here. Think about any and every single type of Bitcoin-based application or Bitcoin company. This would be the most ideal model for them. Just the same way, same concept with Ethereum. It's just for whatever reason, I haven't put a lot of attention on Bitcoin-based applications. And so when I'm having this conversation about the hybrid model in Web 2.5 and Web 3 and this whole transitionary process, when I'm having this conversation, I'm always having it, not really including Bitcoin in the conversation here, just because I don't really think about Bitcoin applications, but I do think they're going to be Bitcoin applications. And not just Bitcoin, quote unquote, applications, but any type of Bitcoin financial product, any type of Bitcoin product, whether it be ETFs, DeFi, wallets, trusts, apps, stable coins, okay? All Bitcoin related products can be done better through ICP and regulation institutions, okay? CKBTC, ICP, and the Bitcoin integration has KYT. I was a critic of KYT, admittedly, and I'll also say I wasn't a critic of them implementing it. I'm a critic of the KYT process, which itself has nothing to do with ICP and or dfinity. However, that process could be decentralized over time. I'm just a critic of the process itself. However, I also said back then, if this is going to be a standard for the entire industry, and it looks like it is, if KYT is going to be a standard for the entire industry, then it's a huge benefit that they can actually do this through their HTTP outcalls. Because if institutions are looking at certain Bitcoin-based products, Bitcoin payment solutions, Bitcoin ETFs, right? Whatever it is, whatever type of Bitcoin application or financial product, when institutions are looking at those, the fact that you can do KYT on the ICP-based solution is likely going to reduce any concerns that they might have about fraud and about theft. On top of that, too, zero knowledge proof KYC solutions. So, in my opinion, not only as far as the design and the architecture and the technical setup, ICP has the best option, the least amount of counterparties, the most security, and real ownership through DAO governance. On top of that, they have the boxes checked on the regulatory front, in my opinion, after zero knowledge proof KYC and everything gets implemented. But with KYT and with future zero knowledge proof KYC solutions, they're going to have the boxes checked on the institutional front and the regulatory front as well, in my opinion. Especially if they get credential support through the World Wide Web Consortium. So conclusion, the only way to have Bitcoin applications, to have true Bitcoin applications and not big tech applications masked as Bitcoin applications, the only true way to have real Bitcoin applications is through ICP and Bitcoin. ICP is the only other technology involved, and it has governance. It has the entire governance framework in place to have a fully decentralized ownership model. This will take time, however, this will take time for these solutions to be built out. This is literally the earliest days you could possibly be here for this type of functionality with ICP and Bitcoin. There is a transitionary process. It's going to take time. And until ICP can do everything end-to-end on ICP, we're going to have hybrid solutions. I look at them just as temporary things that are in place during the transitionary process. I understand that ICP can't do everything end-to-end right now, and it's going to take time and more development and more infrastructure being built out. So in the meantime, there's likely going to be hybrid solutions. And I just view it as like it is what it is. But big picture, where I see all this going is everything end-to-end on-chain through primarily ICP's model because it makes the most sense. It checks the most boxes. It has the most security. It actually offers real ownership. It delivers the promises of Web3. And just look around the crypto space right now. Look at all the technical issues happening. Look at all, more so with hacks and exploits. More so mean like cyber issues happening. So, in my opinion, the reason why what's happening right now is important is because, in my personal opinion, this is the beginning, like the earliest start of the conversation changing around Bitcoin applications and what these are going to look like in the future. And most importantly, everything over the next year or so will highlight the problems with the current model. The reason why that's important is because, in my personal opinion, ICP is the solution to the current model. And a lot of the problems with the current model will be highlighted over the next 12 to 18 months, in my personal opinion. And it's just going to set the stage for ICP. I mean, guys, at this point, it's like even like the crypto media has written numerous articles about this. It doesn't have to be 100% end-to-end ready to go today for it to still be the best big picture solution here. Okay. So just because everything isn't 100% ready to go and ready for mass adoption right now, and everything isn't 100% built out, that doesn't mean that this is not the best solution for the future. So this will take time, but I think that this is the beginning of when the conversation changes around Bitcoin applications. And I think that there's going to start to be more and more of attention and focus in the crypto space in a general sense on interoperability, on truly decentralized solutions. Look at what's happening in the EU, just with the talk about DeFi front ends. And I think that's going to continue. I think it's going to happen across pretty much all communities in the crypto space. And it's just going to set the stage for ICP, in my opinion, which was what I was trying to say like a month or so ago when I was, doing my dismantling the ICP is behind argument. What I've been watching them doing is laying the groundwork and getting the infrastructure and the network level functionality in place in order to do everything at the application level. And I think that's what we'll see over the next 2 to 3 years. But I do think that this is the mainstreaming period for ICP. And I think that you're only going to hear more and more about ICP and its functionality from here on out. That's all I have for this video. This video was not financial advice. Thank you, everyone who has liked, share, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If I got anything wrong or if you want to add anything, please feel free. Take care. Have a good day. I will see you in the next video.